I'm going to tell you guys this really beautiful story. I was on the bus one day. This is the story about attracting beautiful people into our lives by being beautiful people. And that's how we attract people into our lives. We get to the frequency of becoming their type of person so we can meet people that are our type of person. Sometimes though, if you want to become a certain type of person, first you seek out people that are like similar to how you want to become, and then you can learn from them. And when you just spend time with these kind of people, you begin to raise your vibration up to the frequencies of theirs. And they can kind of teach and guide you and mentor you into what works for them, and they just share that love. So spending time with groups of people in certain environments, like going to a sound bath or going to a guided meditation or going to a yoga class or a breathing class, or a festival or a concert, a beautiful concert, not a trash concert, although that's some people's thing too, and that's okay. So I'm on the bus one day. I decided to go to this beautiful outdoor park space with friends. And I get on the bus, and there's this beautiful lady with dreadlocks, and she's the nicest bus driver. And I said, oh my God, I love your dreads. I used to have dreads. I love dreads. Whenever I see someone with dreads, I'm like, that's my kind of people. Of course, I love all people with all hair. All kinds of hair, no hair at all. Any color, whatever it is, we're all beautiful. So she was like, oh my, I was just going to cut my dreads off, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, that's sad. And then I'm pretty sure it's the same lady. I should ask her. Did you have that conversation with me years ago? I stopped wearing hippie clothes for a long time. I got self-conscious. I was like, none of my friends are wearing it. I fell out of the hippie community. And then one day I was like, you know what? Meh, what do I have to lose? Let's put on some beautiful hippie clothes and go out there and see what happens. And I did that, and I got on the bus. There she was, this beautiful hippie, sweet, spiritual bus driver. And I'm like, oh my God, you're amazing. I ended up becoming friends with her, getting to know her ride after ride. Text mess, I traded. She's like, oh, I want to give you my phone number. We started texting each other, uplifting messages and gratitude messages, and just really, really beautiful connection. And I find that with some bus drivers, and it usually sparks off like this other one. Oh my God, I love your crystals you're wearing. And then we start talking about spirituality and the secret and manifesting, and then, oh my goodness, it's like every time I get on the bus, we just have these spiritual conversations. Or I'll be like at the bus stop and sitting next to someone, all of a sudden we start talking spiritual stuff, and it just like blows my mind how like everywhere there's this network of community minded spiritual people that are kind of waking up. And I talk to all kinds of people. I talk to people that are drug addicts on the street. I talk to people that are business people. Usually I go on the bus and I put my headphones on and I'm in my own zone, because like I don't want to be overwhelmed by the conversations around me, because oh my God, you can get sucked into like people's drama. But when I put my headphones on, or I'm reading my magazine or book, or I'm listening to a podcast, or I'm listening to peaceful music, it's like instantly I may be surrounded by chaos and I come back to my center. And so I'm wearing this beautiful hippie clothes. I get on the bus and meet her, and this is the first time I saw her on my bus route. And yeah, I made a really meaningful connection over time. I stopped wearing hippie clothes. She ended up like taking some time off for personal reasons, and then I was like, oh my God, I miss her. And then I literally started wearing hippie clothes, and the first day I wear them on the bus, there she is. So I feel like when we do things that bring beauty and joy into our lives and in the world, we're going to attract people into our lives that also bring that beauty and the joy. And she said to me, you are as bright and beautiful as that color that you're wearing. She's wearing the most beautiful, brightest yellow and pink tie-dye dress. And I was like, you know what? Thank you. I appreciate that. And as humans, we can be so self-conscious and be like, I don't want to stand out. I don't want to, wear colors, bright colors and tie-dye because like no one else is around me. And then, I'll start wearing it, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, my neighbor, someone moves in next door and she's wearing all these beautiful clothes too. And she's just got this, spiritual tone to her. Or like, I'm just going to start hanging out in environments with other hippies and beautiful people, start going to the drum circles like I did last summer, which was a big, big step for me. Was like, I need to come back into these spaces. I took a long break from them, because over 10 years ago I was doing drugs, and then I got schizophrenia, and then I needed to take a break from the festival scene and the drum circles and this kind of people, just to get really grounded so that I could, not use marijuana and psychedelics anymore, and then before that, other stuff too. But last year I was like, had a dream to come back to the festival, so I did. And now I have these beautiful community-minded, spiritual, sustainable-minded people that are kind of hippie-like, or kind of into the alternative scenes, kind of into, growing food and creating communities that nurture the land, nurture connection, nurture consciousness, and waking people up. And it's just really beautiful to have these people back into my life. And it was as simple as just deciding, like, I'm going to go to a drum circle one day, Started going by myself, or I would go with a friend, and it just, like, opened up doors. I met somebody there who was a musician and fell in love with him, and now we go to these places together. And just stepping into this community, I feel so loved, supportive, and held in such a peaceful and, like, beautiful way. And it's just been magical. Of course I did need to learn, like, yeah, there's still drugs in these spaces, there's some psychedelics, there's some marijuana, but I'm strong enough to be like, no, I can be in these spaces and say no to that. And I have friends that do it, and for them it works, and for me it doesn't. So we're just going into these spaces sober, and it's a whole different experience, as a sober person than when I was younger, and I was less wise, and I was more curious, and I was more experimental with those kind of things, which was part of my spiritual awakening. But at the same time, when you have schizophrenia, your mind is already, can you travel out of your body really fast, like living in your head up here. This is the reality, coming back into my body and seeing what really is real, and being grounded in that, and being aware of what's going on. And what is it like to have schizophrenia for me? And I speak for myself because it's different for everybody. It's kind of like constantly questioning reality. It's constantly like, what is the truth? And having this really, really deep desire to know that the truth is out there, and I want to know it, and I want to live it, and I want to be it, and I want to speak it, and I want to teach it. But really getting grounded and just eating well and taking care of myself, and trying to sleep on time, and trying to take care of my dog, and trying to balance, working at the Schizophrenia Society as a peer support worker and an educator and an actress, and teaching yoga and reciting poetry and all these spiritual things that are really rooted in service, because just like it's so important to live a life of service. So I saw a red orb, so I'm going to slow down, take a few breaths here. Where do we want to go? I guess what I'm trying to say is there's people for all of us. There's community for all of us. Drum circles, festivals, permaculture gatherings, whatever it is, it's not the same for all of us. And that's the beautiful thing about this world, is like there's so many different communities. You could join a dance group, learn some dance classes. You could pick a hobby like painting and meet other painters. You could take drum lessons. You could take, group singing lessons. You could go to a community garden. You could go to Studio Bell in Calgary and meet other like-minded music lovers, or musicians. You could go to Light Cellar and go to Night Cellar and listen to beautiful live music like Trevor's and Malcolm and whoever else is there, Sarah, like Ellen, all these beautiful people I've met, I would have never met if I didn't get out there and step into these spaces where I knew I'd find like-minded people. I volunteered at the Light Cellar. That raised my consciousness huge, because all of a sudden I was hanging around other people that were health conscious, that were feeding their body properly, taking care of the house. I joined a gym, and then I was surrounded by other people. I tried the machines at first, you know, by myself with my headphones on. I found the classes where I'm filled with a group full of people exercising together on the bike, doing yoga, and I was just like, wow, let's do this together, because on my own I just didn't feel the motivation, and some people do. They can, you know, my friend, she can go rock climbing all by herself, you know. It blows my mind, and that's awesome. But like, for me, I need someone to work out with, or I need a group of people to work out with. And I'm like, go there, sit in the sauna in the change room, go on the massage chairs, and I'm like, this is the best ever. 3 days after I joined the gym, I texted Trevor and I said, do you want to hang out? Do you want to go for a walk? It was the same place I asked him to walk where he ran. I didn't know that was at both of our spiritual places, the place that we first met. Alexa, off! It must be time for her to remind me something. Anyways, time to feed my dog. That's what it is too. So, stepping out of our comfort zone to find our people is huge. Huge. I didn't even know growing up who my people would be. I was like, what's a hippie? I was like, I didn't know anything about this world that I'm in now. For a long time, I just wanted to have fun. I was like, let's party, let's do this, let's do that. Let's just have as much fun as we can. I didn't realize how damaging that could be over time. My parents did their best to teach us to be good people, you know, to role model what it is to be good people. But ultimately, I need to learn for myself, because we can't just do everything our parents did. We need to get out in the world, try things, and experiment. And my life would have been so much easier, though, if I would have said to myself, okay, yeah, the world's messed up. We all know that. But how do I make it better? Because that's ultimately the only question that really matters. How do I love? How do I help people? Right? How do I step into my role? And as we do that and we ask these questions, and you could sit and journal about it. I've been doing that lately. Like, what is my purpose? Why am I here? How do I have the most amazing day I've ever had? You know? And asking these questions. And what does my heart really, really need? What does it really, really want? Always comes back to connection, to helping people, stepping into our role, and learning and growing in the process. We want to help other people for them, yes, but it also will help us in return. And B, what else is important is creativity. As humans, we need to be creative. You don't go to school growing up without doing art. You don't learn to write and read only. You learn to paint. You learn to spend time in nature. You learn to go play on the soccer field. Whatever it is, you know, you learn to be creative. You learn to find your voice. You learn to give your gifts to the world and to each other. And you learn to find your people. And as you try things, you learn what works and what doesn't. I've been through severe schizophrenia, in and out of psych wards, suicide attempts, drug addiction, homelessness. I needed to go through all of that, and I would not wish that path on anybody, because it's the most difficult path that anyone could ever take. But what was even more difficult is learning to step out of the role of being normal and fitting in and being what society wants me to be, to thinking outside the box, seeing the world differently, and learning to see the world through the lens of love. It takes guts. What is the government and the corporations? Are they going to censor this video because I'm saying this? I don't know. Why is it we put so much trust outside of ourselves? I just vote for the government, they're going to make the change? Why should I stop supporting McDonald's? It doesn't matter where my money goes, it's going to be there anyways. It doesn't matter if I buy organic food. All these other foods there, it's so much cheaper. Why don't I just buy it? Or video games are fun. TV is fun. I'm just going to do that all day. It's so easy to stay small, but to grow, that takes work. It takes action. It takes diligence. It takes focus. And then as we do this, we find our voice. We find our power. Thank God the world is messed up so that we can rise above. Thank God the world has sick people so we can become healers. Thank God the world is dark so we can write beautiful poetry to pull people out of that. But what if we created a world and a future where we don't need to create darkness to become the light? Where everybody can step into their power, into their own inner knowing of this is who I am and this nobody is going to stop me. Stop letting the world tell you who you are. Stop letting the TV ads, stop walking down the mall and staring at all the beautiful, sexy women in their underwear on these perfect little ads that are, no. The person that society is telling you to be is an illusion. And the more that you chase that and you try to fit into society's little box of who you're supposed to be, oh, if I only just spend all my money on new clothes or buy the latest phone or take more pictures of my food. If only I lose 10 more pounds when I'm already underweight. If only I could spend more money on makeup and the right skincare products. And, the more material possessions and the latest fashion trends and all of that's a freaking illusion. It's a dream. It's meant to keep us trapped and small. I was watching True Hope lately. They came up with a new documentary about the True Hope Empower Plus company, and I started researching it. And the more I learned about herbal medicine and natural healthcare, the more I stepped outside of who I used to be and became tuned into a greater path full of wisdom and love. I'm not saying doctors are bad or medicine is bad. No, I take that. There's a place for it too. But studying natural medicine woke me up from a freaking dream and said, hey, wake up. Listen, there's this amazing, beautiful, wonderful path. And the best part of the herbalist path is the people. So I love going to Light Cellar. I love going to the upcoming Wild Rose College Herbal Festival. I loved studying plant medicine. It grounded me, and I learned I had value and I could help people heal. And my greatest healing journey was learning how to heal myself. That's why I started Wild Rose College. I saw an ad in a newspaper and I thought, wow, if only I could heal the world. But first, I knew I needed to heal myself first. And from that place, help others. So I get super emotional about this. And I don't want to talk too much about the negative side. But I hope and pray every day that we always have rights as herbalists. See, I really believe in talking about what's positive and not focusing too much on the problems. So we deserve the right to have access to herbal medicine and supplements. We have a right for them to be affordable, True Hope and Empower Plus companies saved lives. And Health Canada, when they found out about what they were doing and how they were helping people wean off their antidepressants and their bipolar meds and stuff, and their anxiety meds, and then replacing them with these beautiful supplements, high-dose supplements, Health Canada raided them with guns and a SWAT team. It took them down and said, you can't do this. And so for a while, they had to stop selling their products by law. And people started committing suicide because they didn't have their high-dose multivitamin supplements that were saving their life. They won the court case, but recently I went on the website and the government censored all the studies that they've done. These studies are amazing, and you can still find them on other websites. And the people that had the guts to bring this product to market and fight for our rights as consumers, or let's say creators, not consumers. No, we don't want to be consumers. We want to be creative. Why do they call us consumers when they're talking about the economy and stuff? It's just like such a word that we need to step out of. But these products are still available. If you guys suffer from anxiety and depression, bipolar, I highly, highly recommend checking out True Hope and Power Plus. Okay, so where to from here? This is going to be my first 1 hour long podcast. That's my goal. 40 minutes left. I'm like a third of the way there. My neck hurts from sitting on the couch like this, but that's all good. I'm going to keep going. What do we want to talk about? What are we talking about? Rising above, becoming the phoenix, becoming strong, centered, and grounded. Let's talk a little bit about meditation and how it's saved my life. What is meditation? So there's many, many different forms of meditation. So when we close our eyes and go inwards and begin to observe our thoughts from a conscious place, a place of non-attachment, become the observer. We sit in stillness and silence. As we do that, we begin to slow our mind down. We begin to come back into the present moment. And we start to realize all of these thoughts that seem to make up who we are. But then we realize we are so much more than just our thoughts. We are spirit. We are God within. I am that I am. And we are all connected. And when I'm in that space of presence in me, and you're in that space in you, we are one. Meditation helps us slow down. Purple Oribisa. It helps us to be more rational. It actually changes our brain. So when stressful events happen, instead of fight, flight, or freeze, we can consciously decide how to act with a wise mind. Where do we start? It's as simple as closing our eyes and focusing on our breath. Put one hand on your heart, one hand on your stomach. Close your eyes and tune in to your breathing. Become aware of your body. That we're just this tiny little body, this huge, vast, infinite multiverse. Isn't it miraculous? Isn't it sacred and beautiful? I have to remember all of this was meant to help us evolve, and one of the best tools for evolution is meditation. It could be 5 minutes a day, it could be 4 hours every Saturday. It's been profound. It's not everything, we still have to take action, but it gives me time to rest, to let go, to reflect, to stop trying to control and force my way in life. I can't change the whole world, but I can see it differently. And as I begin to see the world differently, the world begins to shift before my very eyes. And meditation helps me see the world for what it is, not just what I think it is. If you think the world is a dark place, you're going to see darkness everywhere. You're going to attract darkness to you. If you begin to slow down and see the world as a beautiful opportunity, a school, a playground, you'll begin to shift. And as you shift, you're going to change your family, even if you don't talk to them. You're going to start influencing your friends or that grocery clerk at the store. They'll begin to ask you, wow, you seem different. What are you doing? And you could say, I meditate. They might go, wonder what that's about. And then maybe they go home and they start to meditate. And maybe your neighbor's meditating. And then maybe, the more I meditate on the bus, my eyes closed, I open my eyes and look around, and guess what's happening? Other people are sitting there. Their eyes closed. Meditation is contagious in a beautiful way. And they've done studies when people get together in large groups to meditate, it lowers the crime rate around them. I've seen a documentary where they brought meditation into jails, and it was profound. I remember my nephew saying they were teaching him meditation at school. Would you imagine? In the West. What if we can combine the spiritual nature of India with Western productivity? And we merge the two, because we need both. We can't just meditate all day here. We can't just work all day and not take time to nurture our spirit. We need both. And when we create both the outer world and the inner world in balance, this is what the Bhagavad Gita talks about. This is what Jesus talks about. Love your neighbor as yourself. Meditation helps us enter that heart space where we can be more compassionate, more empathetic, more genuine, more peaceful. And as we stay in that space and we return to it day after day, it begins to become a part of us. Hi, Luna. Hi, Luna girl. Good girl, Luna came to sit beside me. Luna is a meditation master. She's a Zen master. My dog spends hours a day meditating. She meditates to music. She meditates to silence. She meditates to me petting her. She lays on me and meditates. She's so beautiful. Cats too. Cats purr. It's their music. It's their song. Whales speak through song. So I want you to ask yourself, who are you? And keep asking yourself that. Who do you want to be? What kind of people do you want to attract into your life? What kind of communities do you want to be a part of? What kind of dream do you want to dream? This is all a dream. We dream things into reality. This is all real. Seems real. So when you have schizophrenia, you can go into that space of not knowing what's real, and that's not a problem unless you become paranoid or a danger to yourself. Took me years to learn how to manage my schizophrenia. I'm so blessed to have the tools and the resources and the people around me to actually be happy. And I know I'm just beginning. I know I've been there. I've been in those states of bliss for years, and I really, really want to get back to that. But this time, taking my partner with me, my new partner of 6 months, and taking Luna dog with me, all my new friends. I am never going to be the person I used to be. None of us are. Just learning to let go of who we think we are, who we think we were, and the limitations we put on who we want to be. Because this world is limitless. There's infinite possibilities, and when we learn to be creative, we can create our way out of any problem. I could write a poem about how beautiful my beloved is, or my mom, or my dog, or my community, or nature, or the music, or the teachings, or the herbs. And when I begin to write that beauty down on paper and share it, doors open. Doors to other worlds. Doors to heaven on earth. Doors I didn't even know existed because I couldn't see them, that have been there the whole time. But we need the courage to walk through. We all have in our heart those seeds planted from good people in our lives with good intentions, with love. We all know somebody that has guided us, that has walked this path beside us. And all we want is for everybody to jump on board the love train. Let go of hate, anger, judgment, fear, neglect, and to really nurture ourselves in our community through our gifts. And we each have a gift. If you don't know what your gift is, journal about it. Every day, what is my gift? What is my gift? What am I good at? What does the world need? What do I love doing, Akika? That is your gift. We all have one. I've been able to write so good since I was in junior high. And when I was in junior high, I wrote poem after poem about how dark the world was and how much I didn't want to be here. And the more I wrote about the darkness, the darker my life got. But I didn't realize I was actually creating darkness. It was like I needed to walk through the darkest of the darkest to find myself and learn who I am, and grow my heart to the capacity of holding so much more love than I ever knew or thought was possible. Don't choose that path. There's a better way. For each of us, there is a better way. We are told these stories growing up of what is true and who we are. And at some point we have to realize we need to stop, take a deep breath, and unlearn everything that we thought we knew because someone else told us the truth without us experiencing it. We realize God within when we start to step inside our power and have that capacity to really love ourselves, to forgive ourselves, to forgive everyone that's ever hurt us, to let it all go. We carry these burdens around in our hearts, thinking we're doing our family a favor by taking them on. I'm going to take on your problems so that I can solve them, and then I'm going to help you. We can repeat patterns that our parents went through, like abusive relationships, trying to work it out in our own life. Lay it all down. It's not ours, and it never was. Lay down your burdens, and with that you lay down your fear, your insecurities, your hate, your resentments. You're walking around with all of this stuff thinking you're doing the world a favor, and you are not. Let it go. It is not yours. It doesn't belong to you. Give it to the earth. Breathe. Let go. I do yoga every week to learn over and over that this present moment is all I ever have. This body is my only body I'm going to carry with me for the rest of my life. And if I don't take care of it, eventually it'll catch up to me. It doesn't matter if it's a 5-minute walk a day. 5 minutes of meditation. Do something for you today, and do it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and do it as long as you can. And after 21 days, you'll create a new habit. That's how long it takes. 21 days, that's 3 weeks. I don't know how many hours that is, but I'm 37 years old. What's 21 days? Try something new. Nourish yourself. You can lay down to meditate. You don't even have to sit up. You don't have to be in some cave somewhere. It's here and now. Become your own best friend. Find friends that model who you want to become, that model good values, love, kindness, and anyone that's not giving you that, it's not worth your time. Unless you're really in a relationship and you want to work it out and you want to do your work and you want to heal and you want to heal them, and that's all beautiful. I'm not saying you just walk away from someone because they messed up. That's up to you to decide. But I've been through extremely abusive relationships, and I learned it was not worth it. And during those years, what kept me safe was studying books, podcasts, relationship courses, relationship books, learning to become a better person, learning how to communicate my needs, learning how to set boundaries, getting a dog, taking care of myself, because I knew if I did these things that one day I would be strong. And it took me 7 years. 7 years of hell to be able to know that I deserved better, and I needed to step into a role of helping and healing others, even if I couldn't do it for that person and I wanted to, and I tried to so bad. But I can't change somebody else. And I couldn't leave, and I didn't know how to leave, and I didn't know how to love myself, and I didn't know how to experience peace and joy. Until one day I decided to get a job helping people as a peer support worker, becoming an educator to tell my story, to teach people what is schizophrenia, how do we help, how do we see this from love. And as I told my stories, and as I guided people on the phone through their journeys, I began to see that I deserved better. We all deserve love. We all deserve health and happiness. We don't need a job or a role to deserve that. But often we need to step into that role in order to see and experience that we deserve it. And yeah, I had to earn my current partner. I had to go through hell on earth, into the deepest depths of any possible hell on earth, to come full circle and be able to tell my story and help others who are also going through hell. Sometimes the most difficult paths lead to the most beautiful destinations. But you gotta keep walking. Don't turn around. Don't try to go backwards. There's nothing there. Forwards is the way. Within. Your heart is the way. Go within. Seek answers from within. Seek the people, places, opportunities where your heart can be nourished. I don't want to go into all the darkness and what I went through and what it was like right now. I just want you to know there is a better way, and I'm finding it every day, one little tiny step at a time. And being able to have this YouTube channel where I can just speak from my heart, it means the world to me. If I can help one person, if I can even see the world differently just by thinking things out loud on these videos, I will walk away changed in a beautiful way. If you could begin to tell your story through the lens of love, to see that all of this is a school. You need to learn The rules, you need to pass the test, you need to get good grades, to keep up, to learn, to keep going, to graduate. And when you graduate on this planet, and I've seen people do it, I'm not there yet. I'm still trying to work that out. What does that look like? What does that mean? I just really hope one day I know I'll get there. Get to the top of the mountain, the view will be extraordinary, and I'll see why I went through all of the challenges. Life is like a hike. You go through valleys, you climb ladders, but eventually you get there. And then you walk back down to your life and your home, forever changed from the beautiful experience of climbing that mountain, seeing that view from the top. Hopefully you have someone with you to enjoy that view with, or a community. One of the best ways that I learn spiritual wisdom is through music. And I love spiritual music that teaches us how to see the world through the lens of love. All I have to do is find one band I like on Spotify, put the radio on, and find a song, and then hit SoundCloud app on that song. Open it up in Spotify and listen to other songs by them, and then Spotify generates other artists that sound like them, and then before you know it, I have a wall of beautiful artists, and I just created an all-day long playlist. I put all my playlists that I loved into one, and when I was done, I looked at the time, and it was exactly 24 hours and 5 minutes. How perfect was that? I didn't intentionally plan that consciously. Called it an all-day playlist, and it truly was. And eventually I started listening to it, and I took some songs off I didn't resonate with, and I crossed some artists off my list that I thought were bringing me beauty, but I want to listen to music that speaks to the heart of what it means to be human, that talks about the blessings and the insight of what it means to be conscious. I was not always this conscious, and I'm still learning what it truly means to be conscious. But the more conscious I become, even in little ways every day, the more I can love those around me, the more I can heal my family, the more I let them heal me. Because healing is available to all of us. Doesn't matter your history or who you were. We are never the same as we were yesterday. We can create the best version of ourselves, new, fresh, every day. You want to master that instrument? Do it. You want to learn to dance? Do it. You want to learn to sing? Do it. You want to write a book? Do it. First, visualize it. Believe it's possible. See yourself there accomplishing it. Feel those feelings. Get out there and do it. Take the steps, even if it's 5 minutes a day. If you do 5 minutes a day writing your book, eventually you're going to have a whole book. If you do nothing, you will have a book full of empty pages. It doesn't take a lot. It takes little, consistent steps over and over and over. Trying new things, what works and what doesn't. That's where spiritual growth comes. For me, meditation has been huge, and yoga, and singing, and guitar, being in nature, and having a dog, and visiting friends, and going for coffee with friends, and calling friends on the phone to say, geez, I'm having a hard day. How are you today? And you never know how much they needed you when you needed them. That's so beautiful. You might say, who am I to be a good friend? Who's gonna like me? But you know what? You might become that friend someone else needed. And along the way, they'll become that one for you. Friends are golden. Community is essential. It takes a village and to become whole. When like-minded people come together, that's how we solve the problems in the world. Because alone, I can't do it. I'm not strong enough. But united, we can do anything we want in the whole world. We are free. We're free to be who we want to be. We are free to believe what we need to believe. We are free to choose love or fear. Freedom is beautiful. Free will is beautiful. But we must take responsibility and take this life seriously. It's not just some game. It's not that what we do doesn't matter because we're all going to die in the end. No, what we do matters more now than ever. Be patient. Be forgiving of yourself and compassionate when you make mistakes. It's not the end of the world. Keep trying, keep going. Through mistakes we learn. Stop complaining about everything. Stop talking yourself out of your dreams. Stop saying, who am I to change the world? I don't know better. I don't know what to do. You do know. You always have. You just aren't listening. And maybe you are, and if you are, keep listening. Follow your heart. We all have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful heart. It doesn't matter how angry we are, how many people we've hurt, how many times we've broken our earthly oaths, the promises that we came here to fulfill. It's all in the past. Every day you wake up a new person, your organs constantly regenerating. Your skin, you get a cut, what happens? It heals, it replenishes. And then there's a scar, so you can remember where you came from, but you will see you're constantly changing. The human race is going through this giant leap in evolution right now. Be a part of it. It's such a gift. It is such a blessing to be alive during these times. We are in times that humans have never lived in before, and people are raising their consciousness. Listen to the podcasts of wise people. Listen to the documentaries of wise people. Spend time around wise people. Find communities full of wise people. You will learn so much. But always come back to your heart. And what does this mean to me? And how do I live this in my own way? We're only teaching wisdom that's ancient. We're only changing the words a little to speak through our own voice about how we see it. Don't worry that, oh my God, I shouldn't be a spiritual teacher. All the great spiritual teachers have been here. They've already taught it. I have nothing new to say. No. We all speak these same teachings and truths through our heart in our own way. The world needs your wisdom. You need it. We need clarity. All of the great teachers and gurus and spiritual mentors over time, they all speak about the same thing, and that's love. Jesus, Buddha, all of the spiritual teachers, they became awake. They learned to live in balance and to teach others how to live in balance. But you must find your own road there. You can't follow in the footsteps of somebody else and do exactly what they did. You just can't. You do it in your own way. And you learn by walking forward, and you will see the paths in front of you. And as you follow your heart little by little, the of love will open up in front of you. And when you choose that path, you will understand why you went through everything in your life to get to where you are. And you will see that it was all worth it. And when we reach Avalon, when we reach Zion, we will look around and see all the beautiful people that walked and danced this journey with us. And that is what we came for. And that is why we are here. Don't be afraid of it. Stop hesitating. Just walk and dance. And rise up like the phoenix. We all have wings. We may not be able to see them. We may be terrified to use them, but we were born with wings. And when you think of the word angel, what do you think of? A helper, a healer, a lover, a restorer, a teacher, a guide. That's why we're here. Angels are made on earth. Become the angel. Learn to fly. Stop crying. Stop fighting it. Stop being afraid. Stop being in fight, flight, or freeze, and do something right now. Ask yourself, what does my heart need today? What is the lesson today? Just want to thank you guys for listening. This is like my first time doing this kind of really long podcast. I would really appreciate it if you could give me a like and subscribe to my channel so I can make more of these. Please mention in the comments what you want to hear more about from me, and maybe a difficult situation that you got through. Maybe one piece of wisdom that you would share with somebody who is also going through that struggle. I want you to know that you are loved, you are blessed, you are sacred, you are surrounded by a million angels. God loves you, God's within your heart. Love yourself, you deserve it. If you could imagine the love of a mother, a healthy, happy mother for her newborn baby, times a million, no, times infinity. That is how much you are loved. And so many people on this planet are just rooting for you, trying to find solutions, trying to find ways to help you. But you gotta help yourself. I want to thank you for listening all the way through. That's amazing. It means so much to me to be able to share what I've learned with you guys. I'm just really grateful. I'm going to leave it at that. So, you are loved. You are beautiful. You have so many gifts. You are amazing. You are held and supported by so many people, so many angels. You are worth the effort it takes to self-realize who you are always meant to be.